This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so Malik Scott, the head trainer of Deontay Wilder, has let his frustrations be known, that he's upset, he's angry, all these kind of words, that the Anthony Joshua fight is no longer on the table as everybody thought it was a couple of months ago with the Saudis. Obviously, the Saudis have had a change in management, a change in personnel, so the people that Matchroom and Eddie Hearn were dealing with to get this fight on in Saudi are no longer part of boxing, i.e. skilled challenge. Okay, so obviously that deal has collapsed, and now Eddie Hearn is out there seeking other ways and means to try and get the fight on. Now, Malik Scott is blaming Anthony Joshua, saying that Anthony Joshua isn't campaigning enough to get this fight. Anthony Joshua can go the rest of his career and never fight Wilder. He's happy with that because stylistically, Wilder would do him in, he'd knock him out, all this kind of good stuff. Which is kind of bizarre, isn't it? Coming from a Malik Scott who, let's be honest, dived against Deontay Wilder, right? Hey, that's how most people feel. But anyway, that said, now, I suppose my thing on this one is, well, in the last, 14 months or thereabouts, Anthony Joshua has fought Alexander Usyk, Jermaine Franklin, and Robert Helenius. So he fought 3 times. Wilder has only fought 1 round against Robert Helenius. What's he doing? At least Joshua's keeping active, okay, to prepare for this fight. Now, my other question to Malik Scott and his team, those who are sitting around just whittling about the fact that they're not campaigning enough, they're not doing enough. Well, what are you doing? What have you done to try and get this fight on? What offers have you come up with? What sites have you spoken to? What have you done to contribute anything to this particular fight other than sit there by the phone, waiting for the phone to call, looking for a huge check to come in? That Eddie Hearn, Matchroom 258 and Anthony Joshua, i.e. the team, have actively been going out there trying to get. It was them who were speaking to the Saudis. It's Eddie Hearn who has since said that due to the situation in Saudi Arabia with Skill Challenge no longer being involved, the management team that they were once dealing with, now they're looking at other venues in the UAE, in Japan, at Las Vegas, London, at Wembley Stadium, and all these kinds of things. He's actively looking out there. So what are you guys doing? At least they're actually trying to get the fight. They are campaigning. They are doing the interviews. Well, so they are. Eddie Hearn is doing the interviews. But what is it that Wilder's doing? What's Team Wilder doing? What's Malik Scott doing? What's Shady Finkel or JD's or Al Heyman and PBC and Showtime and everybody? What are they doing about this fight? What have they contributed to it other than sit there bitching about the fact that this fight is no longer a possibility right now until Eddie Hearn can get something sorted out? Because it's all on Eddie Hearn. It's all on Team Anthony Joshua to get it done. And it's not Anthony Joshua's fault that Team Anthony Joshua have offered Wilder that fight on many, many occasions, and all the receipts are there, that Wilder keeps on turning down the fight. Now, this time, it's not his fault, okay? He agreed to fight Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua agreed to fight Wilder. They agreed on the money. That's all well documented. But as I said, the people that they were dealing with Saudi are no longer involved in boxing, okay? The president has removed that particular team from boxing, so now Turki Al-Sheikh is dealing with it. But that's not Wilder's fault, that's not Joshua's fault. So we can say, yeah, okay, at least Wilder was trying to get this fight on, as in he accepted it. But what about now? What about before? What about when Wilder put out there how he turned down an Anthony Joshua fight for a lot more money than what he was getting to have a Tyson Fury fight? He chose Tyson Fury for less money than Anthony Joshua, for undisputed, and more money. So why is it that that's okay? What offers are Wilder coming up with other than a fake 50 million once upon a time? And we know that was fake because Frank Warren admitted it. Well, I say he admitted it. They were trying to get the funds from BT Sport at the time, which of course couldn't happen because Joshua was contractually obliged to be on Sky Sports, so he could never fight on BT Sport. It was all a bluff. That said, that was what it was, and it is what it is. But what are you guys doing about it now other than whittling about it? How about actively going out there? Why don't you approach the Saudis? Why don't you approach people in Japan or Dubai or Nigeria or any other kind of part of Africa or any other part of Asia or Europe or whatever? What are you doing about it? Why don't Eddie Hearn just go, right, okay, Wilder, I tell you what we're going to do. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, Wembley Stadium. It ain't going to be as much money as what you once thought, but hey, you know what? You really, really want this fight, right? Okay, let's do it at Wembley Stadium then. Anthony Joshua will accept that fight. Of course he will. Wilder will not. Wilder does not want to fight in the UK. He's had numerous opportunities to do so. And once upon a time, Wilder called Anthony Joshua a British local fighter, not a world champion. He's a British local champion, not a world champion, because at that point, Joshua hadn't defended his belt outside the UK. But of course, since then, he has fought in Las Vegas and he fought in Saudi Arabia twice. But Wilder, in all of his fights, every single one of them, as champion, fought in America. So was Wilder a world champion, or was Wilder a American-based champion? What was he? What about Floyd Mayweather? Again, he was the same thing. What about Andre Ward and whatever else? You see, we can all hold people's feet to these fires. That said, what are you lot doing about it? What are you doing about this particular fight, other than sitting there bitching and whittling and crying about the fact that your phone isn't ringing with a huge offer? Why don't you go out there and get the offer then? Why don't you do it? What are you contributing to this particular fight? The answer is you're contributing nothing to this fight. Absolutely nothing, saying that Anthony Joshua isn't campaigning. What do you want him to do? What more can Team Anthony Joshua do? I said, if I'm Eddie Hearn, Wembley Stadium, let's go. Let's go. But you see, Wilder, he could have been in this position of WBC mandatory already had he have made the Andy Ruiz Jr. fight. As Malik Scott said in his statement there's more chance of Wilder versus Ruiz than there is Wilder versus Joshua at this point. Okay, then you guys had over a year after WBC ordered that fight to get it done, and you didn't get it done. Was it because Wilder lowballed Andy Ruiz Jr.? Was it because Andy Ruiz Jr. asked for too much money and whatever else? Who knows? Both sides are telling totally different stories. Who knows who to believe? But you could have been there, you could have made that fight, and you could be sat there as WBC mandatory challenger, but you didn't do it. Because all you're doing is sat there waiting for a handout. It's ridiculous. Whittling over you guys doing nothing. It's like people out there who are saying, well, I can't get a job here in the UK because there's too many foreigners come to the UK. I can't get a job. And you go, okay, so what are you doing? Well, there's no point though, is there? There's no point. They're not going to give me a job. Oh, okay, so basically it's just an excuse, isn't it? If you're not actually going to go out there and apply for these jobs, what are you doing? You expect these jobs to just knock on your door? It's the same situation with Wilder. He's waiting for the job to just present itself when he's doing nothing about it himself. Absolutely nothing. Isn't Al Heyman this big, powerful man with all these contacts and all this money? What's he doing about it? Sure, he's got contacts somewhere in the world who can offer up a stupid amount of money, because clearly that's all that Wilder's interested in, is a stupid amount of money. If not, take the fight at Wembley. Take it at Wembley. It'll still be a big payday. It'll still be more money than what he made against Tyson Fury. But he won't accept that, will he? Of course he won't. Of course he won't. Whittling, crybabies. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next video.